allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay, so I'm here. Jean McGee is here. Lorraine is not here. Joanna Wright is not here. Jean Fuqua is here. Betty is here. Okay, so we do have a quorum. The next item on the agenda is approval of the agenda. I'm hoping you all had a chance to read it this week. Okay, a motion's been made to accept the agenda. Okay, seconded by Jean McGee.
So it's all done.
Yeah. Any discussion? All in favor? Say aye. Oppose? Okay, the motion is passed. Approval of the minutes. Now, this minutes are from February. I don't know if we even have them in front of us today. No. Anyway, did everybody have a chance to read February's minutes? Because we didn't have a quorum last month, so the minutes weren't official. And do we have a motion to accept those minutes?
I'll make a motion to accept it.
Okay, Jean Fuqua has made a motion to accept the minutes?
I wasn't here, sorry.
Oh, you weren't? In February?
Okay, yeah, February, I'll second.
Okay. Jean McGee has seconded that. Any discussion on the minutes?
Roger, can you talk into the mic? We can't.
Oh, you know what? He hooked me up with a mic, but it's a different mic. Sorry about that. Is that okay? Okay, we the call to order, flags to the roll call, approval agenda, approval of minutes. We're ready to vote on that. So, all in favor of approval of the minutes? Opposed? Abstain? Okay, the approval of the minutes is passed. Public comment section. Members of the public wishing to address the council will be asked during this section of the agenda if they have an issue to bring to the attention of the council, which is not an item on the agenda. By raising of the hands, the chairman will ask any individual to address the council at that time. Please honor the 3-minute time limit when addressing the council and complete your thoughts quickly if noticed while speaking. All testimony given before the council may be recorded. Since the council discussion of an item not posted on the agenda is not allowed, these concerns may be addressed at a future meeting as soon as practical under non-action items. For non-action items and action items, the public will be given an opportunity to speak during the discussion of each item. If speakers wish to pass material to the council, please hand it to the recording secretary for distribution. Legal, political, legislative, claims against the county, campaign, court issues, and family law issues are not appropriate discussion for MAC consideration. With that, do we have anyone like to make a comment on the public comment section? Chuck Bell.
It all depends. Does anybody want to know the most recent stuff about mulch?
Yeah, go ahead and take the mic up there.
You do? Okay. All right. Otherwise, I just do it in the meeting.
I know Bill and Barbara are interested in the mulch problem.
I could see the mulch problem too.
Yeah?
We move, something's moving across there.
Yeah, right now, that's dirt.
That's just plain dirt.
Good old dirt. Our gift to Johnson Valley.
No, it's not good at our
Yeah, I know. We're lucky the wind's going that way.
Yeah.
These are really rough notes. I didn't have time to do it right. But we met with the Mountain Desert Joint Powers Authority recycling outfit, and we got some really good information. And if anybody wants this electronically, it's all the rules and the regulations.
Mike, you will get here.
What do I do with it? There? It's all the rules and regulations on compostable materials. It's not biosolids, but it's mulch and compost, okay? So give me an email before I leave, which I have to leave early, and I will email you a copy of this, and it has all of the attachments, all of the links where you can get all of the rates. The county is not going to need an ordinance for mulch or compost because everything's in state law, and the county environmental or public health department, environmental health services, is the enforcing agency. So they have to enforce it. It does not have to be a specific ordinance. Apparently 0.5% of trash is what is now required, no more than 0.5% trash in the stuff, and that's almost impossible to do by screening, so it's going to have to be hand-picked.
Chuck, did you say 2.5 or 20?
No, 0.5. 0.5 is the amount of trash allowed in
25% is a
mulch.
lot.
No.
0.5.
0.5.
0.5, one half of 1%.
Okay, all
One
right.
half of 1%.
That makes more sense.
Okay.
Yeah, we wouldn't-
And so that's going to have to be hand done, that's still a problem. Soon, we're going to get regulations, what we've been asking for is for the source, the entity that provides it, to inform the county of where it's going and how it's being applied, and then require a lab report. And so then, it's not up to the person receiving it, who's not going to tell the county they're getting it anyway, it's up to the source, or if not the hauler, to then tell the county, this is going to farm ABC, okay? By 2020, the landfill, I thought the landfills couldn't take it now, but apparently by 2020, the landfills can only take 50% of organic material, and it's 30% by 2022. But what that means is the tipping fees, the cost of dumping it is so high, they're going to be looking for a land application. The state basically told everybody, you better look for land application because we don't want this stuff in the dumps. The water boards, like Lahontan or the Colorado Water Quality Control Board, they are not going to regulate. They might biosolids, but they're not going to regulate mulch. But they want to know where it's deposited, so they're going to be referred to. But they can intervene. And if there's, let's say, a high water table somewhere, they might decide they won't intervene. That's going to be up to them. The State Food and Ag Department can require certain materials for certain crops. They have to be notified. And Environmental Health Services, they shut down the Dallas project. They need to spread it thinner, and they have rodents and flies, and so that shut down for a while. We don't know how long. The Mojave Desert Air Quality Management District was out there because of complaints regarding just the dust, the dirt coming off of it, okay? So that's that. And then Rancho del Sol, Woody's not here, but anyway, the owner out there got contacted. They've had illegal piles for years. Mulch, bio-waste, all sorts of stuff. And so we got them sort of contacted with them, and that's where all the pile fires were, just burning all the time. And so they're getting spread out. We don't know if it's being dished in or not. And we don't know if it's being dished in a field where he's got irrigation. If he doesn't, but it has to be dished in. Now, you just can't leave it in a pile, and you can't just throw it on the top of the ground. It's got to be dished in. Anyway, they are under citations. They deposited a whole bunch of this stuff on Edison easement. Edison said, nope, you can't do that, and so they have to clear that out. Now, the biosolids, that needs an Environmental Health Services permit. That is going to be an ordinance in the county. The Environmental Health Services has inspected the facilities that we informed them about, and plus more that I guess we knew about, and they're requiring lab reports, and they're telling them what the rules are. So not only the haulers, but the farmers, but also the sources are being contacted by environmental health. And there was another farm on Locust that we saw. We took them around the other day, and there were biosolids on it, but the farmer is complying and spreading it out and disking it in. So that's where we are, but environmental health, unlike a whole lot of other county departments, is they're working on our behalf, so we're getting there. And if you want a copy of this electronically, let me have an email before I go.
Anybody have any questions for Chuck before he jumped down? Good. He explained it well enough. No questions required. Any other public comments tonight? Okay, hearing no other comments, we'll move on. We don't have a guest speaker tonight. By the way, I am suggesting for a guest speaker. So we'll move on to our reports. First one is San Bernardino County Sheriff. So, I forget your name, Sergeant.
You don't remember me?
Rodriguez, Dan Rodriguez.
Okay, Dan.
All right, this report is for time period between March 1st and March 31st. In the county area of Apple Valley, we had 497 calls for service with 39 reports drawn. In the Lucerne Valley area, we had 549 calls for service and 58 reports drawn. We were able to fill the one deputy vacancy that we had. We lost that about a month ago due to some promotions and transfers, but we got that filled 2 weeks ago, so we're back to full staff out here with 8 deputies.
That's it?
That's it.
All right. Very simple, very nice.
Any questions? We're good. Perfect.
All right, thank you, sir.
Thanks.
County Fire.
Hi, Bill Mahan, Battalion Chief for County Fire. Last March stats, just looking at them here, is looks like we had 108 calls for service. And of those, it looks like we had 2 that were basically legitimate structure fires. One was a carport and one was a residence. The one regarding the residence also got into the brush, so we also had CAL FIRE respond with us, knocked that down fairly quickly. But for March, as usual, the majority of our other calls were medical related, and probably about 80% medical, 10% car crashes, and 10% fires, including miscellaneous, trash fires and that sort of thing. Not a whole lot to report on my end either. Got some repairs done to the station itself, air conditioning unit, heater unit. Still moving forward with our expansion, adding a couple bedrooms and having to redo the septic system. But other than that, obviously maintain constant staffing. We have hired some more ambulance operator personnel, so the ones working here don't have to work as much to fill the open vacancies, so that's been good. I believe that's about all I have. If anybody has any questions. Yes, sir.
Yeah, is your department getting cost recovery from having to spend all the time out there on the piles?
Yes, the captains usually follow up with that. That's what our direction is to the captains, is to submit a cost recovery for that sort of thing, yes.
I have a quick question, actually kind of for both of you, really. Is there a place where I can find these stats? Because I try to jot them down as fast as I can. But sometimes I miss one, so.
Let me, for me, I'll just give you my business card,
Sounds
and
good.
I can get you set up. Our department does an annual report.
Sure.
With summaries based on the area and stuff, but as far as getting something is timely, probably better for me just to give it to you.
I understand, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Curiosity, this past week or so, week and a half, the fire or paramedics had to come up our road. They say they usually come up Camp Rock to Joshua. Now, I don't know how they got lost in between, but it was a little bit late getting there. But I was wondering if there was a way that we could find a way for people like me that live up that way to show that road is closed for right now, Cherokee.
Oh, okay, so Cherokee's closed, and did they try going up that way and have to go around, or what? I'm not familiar with what happened.
Did they try to go that way? Robin, did the fire department try to go up that way?
They can, but
No, did they do that?
Really rough.
Did they do it this time?
The paramedics for them.
Did they do it this time, Robin? Did they do that this time? Did they do that? Did they come up
One
that
of
road?
them, I don't know which one. I don't know if it was the fire department or paramedics, but
That's okay. It's
So our apparatus can handle pretty rough roads, especially the medic unit.
we just, people up there, I talked to one guy up there, and he said they know that the road is closed, but yet somehow somebody can get up there. To me, I didn't know this until this week, how much loss of time it could be. If it was me or any of my neighbors, it'd be a little scary.
Okay, I'll make sure I'll let the station know about Cherokee, make sure they know about it. Usually, when I find things like that happen on an unusual basis, what I find is maybe we have a overtime person working on the ambulance that's not real familiar, and maybe it's at night where the other crew wasn't right out there to tell them, hey, watch out for this road or whatever, but I'll make sure they know. But it could have been something like that.
Is there anything else? Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. And there's no one here from CAL FIRE. I wouldn't expect it this time of year. Well, Reese was going to he was going to email me a report for tonight because he couldn't make it, and I did not get it. So there is no CSA 29 report right now. And 3rd District Report, Field Representative, Mark.
I don't have a whole lot for you tonight. Chuck usually takes all my stuff. And Chuck includes me in all those emails with environmental health, and which are great. About the only thing I can add to them is I checked his punctuation. You need a little help on that, Chuck. But you get the word across, and I'm glad that my job is to connect you guys with the agencies that need to come out here and take a look at what's going on. What I do have is the Planning Commission. I know there's been confusion on when that's meeting on the 4.10 section of the DRCP. It's been moved to May 17th. Are you all aware of that?
May 24th.
I mean, May 24th, I'm sorry.
Just changed again.
Is that May 24th? Let me check my calendar. You may have that right. Chuck may be right on that
I
one.
think I saw it before I left. It was the 17th, and I think now it's the 24th.
Yeah, you may be right, but anyway, I'll send an email back to Roger and he can get the word out on that. They have changed it again, and I guess it is the 24th now. The other news is Pat Flanagan couldn't make it tonight, but I don't know if you're aware she won the prestigious award of the Minerva Hoyt Conservationist of the Year, which is one of the most prestigious awards you can get for conservation. It's voted on by some of the most qualified people in the world. They actually have to submit a application on why they think Pat should get it. We chimed in and didn't know that she would, but she would, or she did get it. So I guess there's a celebration coming up. I'm not sure when. There might be invitations coming out. Roger, you may get one. I'm not sure, but I'll let you know if it's open to the public. I'm not sure of that. But anyway, that's great. I call her the Dirt Lady, just because it's a term of endearment. But I think she's probably done more to bring it to the forefront on these dust issues that you're having up here, and how they're going to get worse if some of these solar fields and these projects are built. And I can attest from the dust issues just coming up here today on her, and she's done a lot of studies on the sand transport, which we get down in the Morongo Basin. What blows here, we eventually get down there. So I think that's about it. Okay, thank you.
Well, thank you, Mark. Anybody have any questions for Mark? Yeah, real estate was really moving here yesterday.
Millie,
Or day before yesterday, I guess it was.
Millie had her hand up.
Yeah. Okay, we don't have anything to report.
Millie,
I didn't get the dirt lady's last name, Pat.
Flanagan, Flanagan. Yeah, don't tell her I said that.
She's,
She once told me that when I first met her about 3 years ago, she came into the office, and I didn't know who she was, but she started talking about this and that and such, and she said, oh, by the way, if I'm out of line, just tell me to go stand in the corner. Well, I soon realized she had claustrophobia, so. No, I'm just kidding. But anyway, she's a great lady, got a great sense of humor. I wouldn't mind if you said that, but the proper term is soil. So if you're talking to Pat, make sure you use the term soil. Right.
The soil lady?
The soil, yeah, the soil lady, exactly. Yeah. I never thought of that, but that is a word, yeah. I'll stick to dirt then, how's that? Thanks.
Any other questions? Okay, we don't have anything from the Land Use Committee this month. How about the Cemetery Committee?
I have a little bit here. I've been trying to, what we've been trying to do is get the cemetery actually out of CSA's hands. So, because they don't really have the money to sometimes to take care of the cemetery probably the way they should. And most cemeteries are county, taken care of by the county. And so this is what we were trying to do for number one. We've been trying to get it into the hands of the county, and then they will come out here and take care of it, where CSA doesn't have to be out of money. So that's one thing that I wanted to talk about, and seeing what we could get some back, talk on it, see what people thought. My second thing was, I would like to see about getting the 3 partials out at the cemetery into one. Richard, Selby and I have been trying to do that for a long time. But we've kind of been put on the back burner, and now that I'm back and ready to do a little bit of work here, I'm not breaking my foot or my head, so I can do this. I think if we can get this, where we can get that into one partial, I think it would be beneficial for the cemetery in the long run as time goes by, because I think there's going to be a problem. And I would like to see eventually have a column burial out there. And I was promised some help a long time ago, but it sort of kind of got up, like I say, on the back burner, and I've just been sort of left behind. But I'd like to bring it back on to the action report from here on in and see if we can't get something done. Because it needs to be done. I'm not getting any younger, and I'm going to need that out there. So I don't want to be in the ground. So I'd like to get a feedback from people if we could and see what you think. And then I'd like to sort of get it going to where we can get a survey out there and get it all into one parcel. That would be the first thing. And then try to get it into where the county will be taking care of it instead of CSA. Because that way they won't have to be using money they can use somewhere else. And most cemeteries are handled by the county. So that's what I have to say, and I thought maybe, yeah.
You'll have to go back through minutes, but it seems like in 2007 or 2008, we actually had CDBG grant money for a column burial.
Really?
And, yeah, and they messed around and messed around and messed around and never got it in there. And
Now, what year was this?
It's when I
We'll
was
go
on
back
the-
in the minutes and find
It
out.
was when I was on the MAC, and I was in charge of cemetery.
Now, how would I find those minutes? At CSA?
If they-
At the office?
Hopefully Sharon kept them, because she was doing the minutes at that
Oh,
time, so
okay.
it should be in the.
I'll take
office.
it
So
and I'll
I
stick it in their face and tell them
If
here.
they okayed funds at one time, that, I don't know how that works.
I never heard that.
Yeah.
I would do like nothing better than to get that out there, because I really think this community can use it. I mean, if you're going to be cremated, why would you want to be put in the ground? Because that's what you're doing. They're doing now. And the column burial would be such a good thing out there, I think. And Chuck, you had your hand up.
Way back when, you're talking about the block grant funding, they wouldn't fund cemeteries for many years, and I don't think we ever got anything. When was that, Millie?
I think it was around 2007.
2007. Well, that's when the county was still getting some block grant funding that went to the individual departments and not just to the supervisors that would divvy it out.
Okay.
So,
It was the same year that they agreed to replace the kitchen floor, and they didn't replace the
Oh.
kitchen floor either.
Well, yeah. Same year they were supposed to fix the commercial outfit that year, right?
Probably.
Chance-
Okay. that's
Chances are
not-
pretty good, though, in terms, I think the county, and I don't know, Mark, you might want to check this out. Last I heard, the county actually operates 2 cemeteries. This one and one in Needles. And most everything else is either private or belongs to some kind of a mortuary or whatever.
Yeah, I'll check on that. I'm not too sure of that. The one, they have one in 29 Palms. And the designation, I think, is called a non-governed cemetery. However, they don't get any county money. They run it off the profits from the cemetery itself. So just disconnecting from the county may not be of any advantage. I don't know. The CBG grants usually go to municipalities, and they're usually not able, by code to give it to outside agencies.
So being on the county's thing like that, there wouldn't be any help.
Remember, it would go to special districts.
Yeah, okay.
And County Service Area 29 is a county-governed special district.
Oh, okay.
Right.
So when you say go to the county, it's already in the county.
Well, see, the way Richard talked, it was not in the county, that it's under the CSA, right, is the county, but it's still different in some way.
It's been in the counties, I think, in county jurisdiction ever since the early 60s.
1962.
Well, how come the county, well, I don't understand it.
Okay, wait, let me say this. CSA 29 is part of the county. The easiest solution is if the Board of Supervisors would increase CSA 29 fundings by just a little bit to help cover the cost of maintenance on the cemetery. It wouldn't take much.
Yeah, I'll try to get you the number. I'll give it to Roger for the cemetery in 29. They seem to do very well at what they're doing. I'll get the number of the general manager there. You may want to talk to her and get some advice on how they do it and how they fund it.
Okay.
There may be a way, but just disconnecting from the county, I'm not
Well,
sure.
it would-
I don't think there'd be any advantage to that.
Well, Richard was talking about that it would be better if it's under the county, but see, that was confusing to me then.
Well, it is under the county. It's part of the CSA now.
Right, but
Right.
it's different the way he talked.
He thought he was referring to a cemetery district, and I don't know that San Bernardino County has a cemetery district.
They do. The 29 Palm is a cemetery district, but they're called a non-governed agency. Yeah,
Okay.
non-governed district, yeah. This thing went back as far as, I think, 1938 when it was first formed, and I don't think they do that anymore, but it's its own district, it has its boundaries,
Oh, okay.
right? So I think, if I get you that information, I think she'd be a world of knowledge for you.
Okay. Betty, let's get Betty in on this.
So if I go to the office at CSA over here, do you think maybe they can find what I'm looking for?
I don't know.
Okay.
I have a question.
Betty has a question for you.
On consolidating those parcels, who does the surveying? Who would?
Richard found someone, I think, in Apple Valley.
So it would be a contract surveyor?
Yes. That's what I
What does it
understand.
take to do to make 3 parcels become one? How does that happen?
Hey, it's a pretty easy process, actually.
Is it-
Actually, I think Richard's plan was to have the county survey it and give the information to an engineering company in Apple Valley, then they would put the package together and then back to the county to get recorded. I think that's what the plan was. And it wasn't a whole lot of money.
No.
But I'm hoping under the Trump economy we'll have a little bit more money coming into the county. I can only hope, so.
Now that I've put that out, I have another complaint. We just got Sutter over where I live in the Russell tract, had it paved, and we have a gentleman there that takes his grader or whatever it is he does to smooth his road off, and he comes across the pavement and he's jerking up all the asphalt. So we've asked him not to do it, and he just looks at it and says, huh, and he just takes off. So we're thinking about putting boulders there in that big hole where he goes, because he's destroying the road after they did such a nice job. I mean, it really looked good, but now he's making holes, he's pulling up the asphalt. So now do I contact Caltrans for this?
Call County Public Works.
County Public Works.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, they have a yard in Apple Valley, but you just go on their website and get
Okay,
their
County.
800 number or whatever.
I think I've done enough
And
today.
if you got a license number or license plate number or the guy's name or something,
Okay.
If you start an email and up in the line where you put the recipient, if you just put DPW, that will get you the Department of Public Works.
Oh, okay.
And that, a lady named Santa, and
Santa?
she's very good at taking in those.
Spell
She
that.
she doesn't give out any
S-A-N-T-I?
money, though. Yeah, she will probably respond to you, and hopefully she can work with you on what's going on out there.
Well, you know I'd hate for the sheriff to come after me. So I'm,
Yeah, let's try going through the enforcement route first.
I haven't threatened yet.
okay, so let's move on here to correspondence. I haven't gotten any. Anybody else? Okay. We have no non-action items for tonight. We have 3 action items for tonight. And the first one is a resolution regarding renewable energy policies. I think I'm going to take a minute and go ahead and I'll read it as best I can here. Got a lot of whereas and therefores in it. Kind of tough on me, but we'll see what we can do. And this is directed to 3rd District Supervisor James Ramos regarding a resolution regarding renewable energy policies. And this would be resolution for number 2018-001 for Lucerne Valley and Johnson Valley MAC. Okay, a resolution from the Lucerne Valley and Johnson Valley Municipal Council urging the San Bernardino County Board of Supervisors to direct land use services to immediately send renewable energy policies 410, 410.1, 410.2, and 410.3 to the Planning Commission and adopt these measures as they stand to protect the desert communities against impact from renewable energy projects. Additionally, to request that the Board of Supervisors submit a scoping comment for the Desert Renewable Energy Conservation Plan, DRECP, asking that there be no additional land allocation for renewable energy development on public lands in the DRECP amendment. Whereas the renewable energy has been a major issue in San Bernardino County for 3 decades, whereas constituents throughout Lucerne Valley and Johnson Valley have spent thousands of hours and considerable expense attending meeting with elected and agency officials and analyzing documents for both San Bernardino County Partnership for Renewable Energy and Conservation, SPARC, and Desert Renewable Energy Conservation Plan, DRECP. Whereas 2 of the guiding principles of the August 8, 2017 Renewable Energy and Conservation Element adopted by the Board of Supervisors state that the county should, quote, keep utility-oriented projects separate or significantly buffered from existing communities to avoid adverse impacts on community development and ability and the quality of life, and conserve and sustain sensitive natural resources and habitats. Now, therefore, it be resolved by the Lucerne Valley and Johnson Valley Municipal Advisory Council that, 1, we urge the San Bernardino County Supervisors to direct land use services immediately to send renewable energy policies 4.10 and RE 4.10.1 and 4.10.2 and 4.10.3 to the Planning Commission and adopt these measures as they stand, as they provide the best means of protection against utility-scale renewable energy projects that would fundamentally harm the fabric of our communities. 2, we request the San Bernardino County Board of Supervisors to submit a DRECP scoping comment requesting that there be no additional land allocation for renewable energy development on public lands in the DRECP amendment. Okay, so that is the item. Any discussion on that item?
I have a question.
Go ahead. Use the mic.
The wording makes it sound like, wording makes it sound like there's definitely an amendment to the DRECP. Has that actually been established? They're still scoping whether or not to do an amendment, aren't they?
I think they're still in the scoping process right now.
Well, what if we said, no additional land allocation for renewable energy development on public lands? Anything like that? Some, in the DRECP amendment, makes it sound like that amendment exists. What if
No, it
says-
isn't. They're working on the amendment right now.
I know, but this wording makes it sound like it's done deal. I say we should say public lands in any DRECP amendment. Or proposed amendment, or anything like that.
Well, Mark, you guys,
You can add proposed and
huh?
just to separate it from looking like it's already in there.
Okay, so would the board like the word proposed add in there? Can we take a vote on that?
I say, that's what it is.
Okay, so we'll add the word proposed on there.
That's up there at the description and down here in the item number 2 at the bottom.
All right, before we get at it, I don't want to take time to find it right now. Before we leave tonight, Betty, you're going to have to show me where it goes.
Okay.
Okay, any other discussion on this? Does the public have any input on this? Bill?
Yeah, there's the original that you referred to at least in one sentence. And then there's the current, what I call 4.10 light. It's coming out of the land use services, their recommendation, and we just want to make sure it's really the original 4.10 group, because that was the one that protected us versus
Yeah,
the other pretends there is some sort of peace could be made by still put them in here and make the community happy.
Yeah, when we first put this together, that wasn't an issue. So they've added that issue since that time.
What did we say as originally written?
Yeah.
Yeah, how's that, everybody feel that's okay? Okay. Okay, any other discussion? Okay, well, I guess it'd be time to bring it to a vote then. Okay, so a motion's been made to accept this letter with the changes, is that right? Okay. And it's been seconded by Gene McGee. Any further discussion? Okay, let's go to a vote then. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Those abstain? Okay, the motion passed unanimously. Okay, the next item on the action item is letter to Supervisor Ramos regarding the sanctuary state law. San Bernardino County Board of Supervisors and all that has been awfully quiet. I think at Hesperia, and I can't remember, is there any other city, county, Barstow, I think, has come out against the sanctuary city policy. Are there anybody know of? No, I'm talking about county alone. Yeah, it's getting to be quite a move in Southern California, that's for sure.
I don't know about Victorville.
I don't think Victorville has done it yet. They may probably not. They have a pretty large Hispanic population, so I'm not sure that they would do it. Okay, let me go ahead and read this letter. Hopefully it'll be read a little easier. And this is to 3rd District Supervisor James Ramos, and it's regarding the California Sanctuary State Law. California's recently enacted sanctuary state law is of great concern to the Lucerne Valley and Johnson Valley Municipal Advisory Council, as well as residents of Lucerne Valley and Johnson Valley communities. The issue of the sheriff departments and municipal police departments across the state being forbidden by state law to cooperate in any way with federal immigration officials allows the criminal, illegal aliens to go free to commit crimes again and again is of great concern. We understand the need for law enforcement to work to protect people who are not here legally but are not criminals. However, the state law expressly forbids local law enforcement agencies from turning over dangerous criminals over to ICE. The people of Lucerne Valley and Johnson Valley want the criminal element to be turned over to ICE and be deported. There is no excuse to allow criminals convicted of serious felonies to be allowed to stay in the United States. We urge you to go to the Board of Supervisors and urge them to join the other cities and counties who are challenging this law for the safety of not only the residents of Lucerne Valley and Johnson Valley, but all the residents of San Bernardino County. Are there any comments or questions? Just a minute. Let me go to the board first.
A couple of typos.
Oh. Well, I sent it to you a week ago.
Don't you get tired of me telling you?
No, I don't get tired of it, but I sent it to you a week ago. We'll fix them. We'll fix the typo. Are there, okay, Linda, go ahead. Could you stand up and speak loudly, please?
Yeah. I can't. I understood you were going to pass a resolution. What's the difference between a resolution and a letter?
Say that. Come up here and use the mic. I can't.
Sorry.
She said, what's the difference between a resolution and a letter?
I have hearing issues too.
Resolutions are kind of cool because they're really, they look really wordy and like you really know what you're talking about. And resolutions are just more informal letters. I mean, a letter is just a more informal letter.
Okay, is it on?
Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a crummy mic.
It's not that.
Doesn't help me here.
It's not very loud.
Hold it in your hand.
Okay, and then my other question is, why just to Ramos, who we know is not sympathetic, instead of the entire board or each individual member, as well as Ramos?
Because we work for him.
Well, I understand that, but don't we have the right to address the other four? I mean, is it just because they're
Well, you
not?
know, we're free citizens. I suppose we have the right to it, but I kind of want to stay within protocol. The newspapers have picked this up already, and I'm sure there's going to be a follow-up article. They already did an editorial on what we're doing, the Victorville Daily Press, and I'm sure that there'll probably be another article based on our vote tonight. I would think. Am I thinking on the right line? Okay, so I kind of like to work through that way. You know, we can always back it up and say, and just send this letter to the rest of the council, but I kind of don't want to do that just yet. And I don't know for sure that Ramos wouldn't back that. I don't know. You know, I just don't know.
Okay, well, my preference for what it's worth, which is nothing I know, would be at least to CC the other four. That's all. My comment.
I may be able to answer the question in the resolution. The resolutions carry a lot more weight than just a letter. And there may be some case law on that once it's submitted. It will go to the clerk of the board and it will be distributed to the other supervisors. A letter, however, won't be. So this could be turned into a resolution, or you could just simply put a note on it with your approval of the council to ask, I would send it to Molly and ask her if she would distribute it to the other supervisors. That would be protocol, and she probably would do that.
Okay.
Okay, that sounds good.
I'm kind of hoping that if more jurisdictions or more MACs around the county would start putting a little heat on them. They got election coming up.
Yeah.
And the latest survey that came out, I think it was last night, showed that a majority of Californians are not in favor of sanctuary state. So any of these guys that are up for re-election probably ought to be thinking about that. So, and we're not asking them to go in and round up, you know, Jose and Maria as they're walking their kids to school. We're not asking them to do that. We're asking them just to go after, let the sheriff work with ICE on the hardened criminals. You know, so any other discussion? Okay, ready to bring it to a vote?
Yes.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Oppose? Abstain? Okay, passed unanimously. Very good. And then our final letter, this one's a little out of, this one I'm going on a limb, okay? Well, I am going on a limb on this last letter, so. This last action item is to Sheriff McMahon regarding the state of California sanctuary state law. The Lucerne Valley Johnson Valley Municipal Advisory Council is a body whose members are appointed by the 3rd District Supervisor, James Ramos. The purpose of this board is to advise the supervisor of issues of concern to the residents of Lucerne Valley and Johnson Valley. In the matter of the state sanctuary law, is of grave concern to the residents and the advisory board, and we felt it was necessary to contact you directly with our concerns. The issue of the sheriff departments and municipal police departments across the state being forbidden by state law to cooperate in any way with federal immigration officials allows criminal illegal aliens to go free to commit crimes again and again is of great concern. We understand the need for law enforcement to work to protect the people who are not here legally but are not committing criminal acts. However, the state law expressly forbids local law enforcement agencies from turning over dangerous criminals over to the ICE. The people of Lucerne Valley and Johnson Valley want the criminal element to be turned over to ICE to be deported. There is no excuse to allow criminals convicted of serious felonies to be allowed to stay in the United States. We urge you to enact the policy that the Sheriff of Orange County and other counties, whereby you post online release dates of all inmates in your custody. This seems to be a logical way to deal with the criminal element about to be released, so that any interested party would know who is being released and when. We sincerely hope you will consider this policy and enact it as soon as possible. Any comments? Wow. Board members, no comment?
It sounds like it would work.
Yeah, it does.
Okay, well, let's go and bring it to a vote then. All in favor?
Aye.
Those opposed? Abstain? Mark, the only thing I need from you is I have no way, I can't really find a good way to get this to the sheriff. Is there an email address you can get for me, or is there
So you're going to put the onus on me?
Say again?
You know the sheriff, they have guns, you know.
They have what?
Guns.
Well, okay.
Sure. Well, you've got an address on here, and that is their sheriff's department. Do you want me to get that sent out for you, or?
Well, I know, I put the address on there, but I didn't know if that's the best way. Would that actually get into his hot little hands, or is that going to just get into some lower level?
Well, you probably have a good point. Well, I'll take a copy of this. Would you give me a copy
I'll
with your
email it to you.
signature on it?
I'll email it to you.
Okay, email me with a signature on it. You send it through the normal channels through his address, and I'll send it through my channels. How's that?
Okay, that sounds
And
great.
between the two of us, we'll get it there.
Okay, very good. Okay, do the council members have any requests or reports? Okay, our next meeting will be May 17th at 5 p.m. right here in the Lucerne Valley Community Center. And with nothing further, we are adjourned at 5:50.